it's been a dramatic swing from whatever strategy you had at 2019 as the year was coming to an end to a year ago to today. So if you would talk to us how you have formulated and implemented and will implement strategies as that set of circumstances has evolved.
Sure, happy to. So it has been an interesting run for sure. And I think what is most important to note is that there is a shortage of housing in the United States. And across the United States, the level of severity of that shortage and the market impact, the income levels that are impacted, it varies by market, but there is a fundamental shortage. And Freddie Mac estimates that there's currently 3.8 million housing unit shortage in the states, and frankly, that's even more acute shortage for rent attainable homes and for affordable housing units. So that's the fundamental backdrop in which we operate. Gables has operated in 9 markets around the United States, and we are typically operating at a higher rent to income ratio, renter by choice. So coming into 2020, we had in the past, and 19 in the past, had fought through a lot of supply that had been coming into our markets. But 2020 looked like it was going to be a very strong market, and frankly was for the first quarter of the year when the pandemic hit. One of the things that is the benefit of our organizational structure is that being a vertically integrated company and a 39-year history with a long tenure of associates, we had a team that was time tested with respect to dealing with natural disasters. And so we were able to pull out the SOPs, if you will, for how to deal with difficulties and pivot quickly by looking at experiences that we have had in the past and recognize that this was a situation like anything we had seen in the past, and how do we address those issues. We were most concerned about the impact that it would have on our residents, so we worked carefully with NMHC and other organizations to say we need to think about our residents and our associates first and develop sets of policies and procedures to address that. And really couldn't be more proud of our organization as how we pivoted, frankly, on a daily, weekly basis as regulations and situations changed and occurred. And then recognized, really coming into September, after the first few months of the pandemic, that things were beginning to move to a more normal situation, and that how do we strategize as a company to address that and again take care of our residents, but let's do the right thing for investors. We saw that our atypical for this time of the year, the markets began to improve. We saw occupancies begin to tick up starting in September through December, which is not typical for that time of year. And then frankly, as you pointed out, coming into January, the markets have really turned, and they've been quite positive. Occupancies are at all-time high rates. Rental rates are growing. And so the strategy and the execution of that is really how do you communicate with your team to make certain that they are aware of the situation and looking forward. It's hard when you're in the trenches to be worried about anything but the trenches. And key is communication with your team and with your leaders so that the team can be focused on going forward with that, whether that's from a development standpoint and the things that are changing the market, or whether it's an operations standpoint. So all of those things really were the big changes for the past year.